I'm back here at the tree surface trying again with the trailer. This is all the stuff that nobody wants, like these triple crotch, but the 30-ton will go right through that. So, you know, you can just split it right up here and make wood out of it, but everybody leaves it behind. I mean, there's crotches all over the place. And the trailer is doing pretty good. I got about a half load and I still got some room to go, several inches. So I'm happy with that. Now there's a lot of wood in this piece. There's some dirt in it right there, but I think I can shave that off right here and get wood out of that. That's a piece of maple that's been here a long time. There's wood in that piece. And we're gonna work on this. Got a long little piece of cherry here. This one down here, that's all little cherry stick. But I mean, look at all these crotches. This is pretty large. It's hard to tell how big that is. I mean, that's my shoe next to it. Size 12, 12 and a half. And I could noodle that in half, but I'll have to, I mean, that's a lot of work for my chainsaw with a smaller bar on it. I'd have to work it from both sides. I kind of want that piece, but I don't know if I want to rip it in half or not. I did not take that piece home today, and I ended up running out of gas in my saw. I had no idea that happened, but I used most of my gas on this piece that I'm getting ready to do right now. And I had just sharpened this chain after I hit a nail the last time I was here, and I grazed the ground just barely, and I guess I knocked the edge right off it again, because I mean the saw was cutting like crap. It started off cutting pretty good in this piece, but I cut through some of the dirt in this log, and I know I grazed the concrete here in a little bit, just briefly. And I may have hit something else in a log, I'm not sure. It made a weird noise, but it was cutting like crap. Right now it was doing pretty good, but by the time I was done, I was sawing those little logs, and I mean they're basically like branch wood, limb wood, sticks. I hate to call them sticks, but you know, you can cut them down to size, and you just get a nice little piece of firewood out of them. And I mean, the saw was just spinning around in circles, hardly cutting by the time I was done. So I gotta drag the file out again and go over it again. Spend 15 to 20 minutes trying to sharpen it again, I guess. Anyways, that happens. Onward we go. Same piece of wood. I just moved the camera around to the other side because I'm just using my little MS 180 saw. And guys, this is a testament to how much work you can really get done with this saw if you have to. I cut all kinds of wood with that little MS 180, and I'm noodling this thing in half, and you just go down one side, and if you have to, you can turn around and go down the other side. So, you know, you can get 32 inches of coverage if you expand the bar both ways, 16 inches on each side. And that's just kind of what I have to do, but it gets all kinds of work done. That saw, I just throw it, I put a scabbard on it and throw it in the back seat of my truck, and it's a nice little travel saw. I love it. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now, this cut gets a little bit messed up. For whatever reason, when I turn around and go the other way, I kind of got off center inside the cut there. I took a little bit of a wrong turn down in there, and I ended up about 2 inches off. So I kind of struggled with this piece. That rarely happens, but this is a pretty big piece of wood. I just got a little off center. But I'll go ahead and play this piece in real time here, and then some of this other footage coming up, we'll speed up and do high-speed footage coming up. Right there, I couldn't figure out why this thing wouldn't crack, and the saw is making some weird noises. As you can see, it's kicking back inside that log. I don't think there was metal in it, but it sure didn't like that cut right in the middle for some reason right there. I got it. So, oops. Somehow I came off of my line there a little bit. You can see it wasn't splitting. I'm gonna get it to separate. Alright, so that was kind of interesting, my little saw ripping that big old round in half. But now I just got to go around and clean up all this other little stuff. I just kind of tidy it all up, and you know, you got to clean it up and make firewood out of it. It's all random stuff with pieces sticking out of it, so I just clean it up the best I can. That piece I'm working on now is a big crotch, but the Y end of the crotch, it sticks up like too far. So it would have been like a 25-inch piece of firewood. It was just too long. So I cut those 2 cookies off the end of that crotch, and I went ahead and I took the cookies with me because I really don't like leaving a mess here. You can see all the debris that's already on the ground and everything that these guys are going to have to worry about. So, you know, I'm guilty of doing it before, of leaving bark and stuff around, and just my sawdust is a lot. I mean, I leave noodling those rounds in half creates a lot of sawdust. But I took the cookies out of there today. I try to take as much of my own trash, call it, as I can and get it out of there. I mean, listen, I don't know what these guys are going to do with the wood. This is Gary's lot, and I think he rents it or leases it. I'm pretty sure he doesn't own it, but I just don't know. I've talked to him about it before. It's crazy. I just wouldn't be able to live with that kind of stress if I was him, because he's paying a monthly fee for that lot, and I just don't know what he's going to do with this stuff ever. And I've asked him about it, and they just say, well, we've always managed or whatever, and you know, just like water off a duck's back. But even if somebody got all of this wood out of this lot, there's several truckloads, and I mean large truckloads, like a 15-yard chipper truck. There's several truckloads of debris and sawdust on the ground in there that needs to be taken out. And somebody apparently had a bulldozer, a bobcat or something in there last year, and while he was around, the tree service guys asked if they could move some wood. So they got in there with that loader and just pushed all of the wood into a pile, and with all the debris and everything. And I really wish they wouldn't have done that. I mean, if you would have gotten 4 or 5 guys, they could have thrown that wood out of the way by hand and piled it up a little nicer. But there is all kinds of good wood that's underneath debris and sawdust and wood chips and crap, and it drives me crazy. It breaks my heart to see that stuff go to waste. I mean, whenever I'm in there, I always try to dig it out, and if it's wet or, you know, covered up with mulch and crap, I'll bang it off and throw it on top of the pile in the sunshine where it can dry out or whatever, and I do the best I can. But there's just all kinds of wood that's buried underneath wood chips, and I really wish they wouldn't have done it that way. But that was what was convenient for them at the time, and they just come in there after a hard day's work and dump wood out of the truck. It's crazy. But I'm helping, I guess, you know, I'm doing all I can. I'm taking a lot of wood out of there. I don't know what's going to happen to that in the long run. They just don't even worry about it. They just pay their rent, and I guess when the time comes, they'll worry about it then. So in addition to everything that I was just talking about, there's also a lot of pine in there. And if you look against that fence back there, you can see like that big half round that looks like a big C with the center rotted out of it. There's a bunch of stuff like that all scattered around. Just stuff that nobody will ever take out of there. It's the wildest thing. I'm just like, what in the heck is going on with all this stuff? Nobody's ever gonna take some of this stuff. And some of those pine rounds and like birch, it just doesn't hold up long. I mean, if you take those pine rounds that come in dead standing or whatever, they sit there for a year or two, nobody ever touches them. Some of them get buried halfway and whatever, and they just turn into punky, rotten stuff. I don't know, I have no use for it or whatever. I mean, unless all the hardwoods get taken out of there and I start loading up truckloads of pine and selling it at a discount, which I don't want to do because it's the same amount of work. I mean, that's the sad thing, is if I did that and I just sold like campfire wood or bonfire wood in the summer or something, or fire pit wood, and tried to sell it cheaper, it's the same amount of work to go in there and get pine or get hardwoods. Either way, you still got to go pay gas to get it, round it all up, load it in the truck, drive it home, process it with a wood splitter, pay gas in the wood splitter, stack it, dry it, and then put it back in the truck, haul it to somebody's house, unload it. So, you know, you can get hardwoods and get top dollar price, or go through the same amount of work and sell somebody bonfire, campfire wood for, you know, substantially less, I would assume. So it just blows my mind. I don't know, nobody's ever going to take all that pine out of there. And if there ever comes a day when it has to be moved, it'll take several days and several guys and several trucks to move all that, and then they're going to have to go find somewhere to dump it anyways. It's just the wildest thing to me. It's not my problem. I'm doing all I can to help. It blows my mind. I think it's really interesting. Now, I mean, if I also ever get caught up with hardwoods and stuff, I can take some of that pine and make kindling and things with it out of it. Some of it's okay to burn, and it makes great kindling, and it burns really good and everything. It just burns faster than other woods. And pine in this area obviously is just not looked at as highly as hardwoods and stuff. Even if it's a good burning pine, it's kind of hard to sell it or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I won't be taking a ton of it. I've taken a little bit of it that's like really good, dry, no sap, dead standing pine that just burns good. It doesn't. I found one tree. It doesn't pop. It doesn't sizzle. It has no sap in it. It just burns hot and clean and makes a nice bright flame, and it's great to mix with hardwoods. But a lot of the other stuff, like there's a round that's just right behind me laying on the ground facing the camera, and there's a big white ring around it. I mean, that's a big sap ring. I'm not going to take that stuff out of there. And if you lifted that thing up, it probably only weighs 5 pounds. If that was oak, you could probably not even lift it hardly with one person. So it's just crazy, man. I don't know. I think about it all the time, and it stresses me out, and it sends my OCD into overdrive. So I can't imagine owning this stuff. About 3/4 of the way full, still going. I'll give you an update when I'm done here. All right, so we got everything loaded up here, and the trailer looks like it's doing good. Let me show you. I got a heaping load in it here, and the truck's full, and the springs appear to be doing pretty good. If you can see under there, plenty of room. They're not touching. They're still 2.5, 3 inches. So I'm gonna go slow on the way home, but the next thing I gotta do is fix these chains. This guy's dad owned this trailer, and I don't know what he used it for, but it has these little lightweight chains. That link isn't even a link anymore. You can see that. He had to spread that and break it because this won't fit through it and tighten unless that link is enlarged. So if this trailer does ever fall off or an emergency happens and this yanks on that, that could break. These I don't think are the strongest rated. I see them all the time on trucks, and I check the rating on them. They're not always rated at enough poundage braking force to haul a trailer. I don't like those. This chain is the same gauge, it's not good. And then it goes back into this chain. There's an S hook here, that could also be a failure point. It's rusted and old. That could spread open and break. This chain is what you need. That's a good gauge chain there. But then it comes back and this you can't see in here probably, but that bolt is a little tiny bolt in there. I mean, look how small that is. It's not even half as big as my finger. This little tiny bolt with a screw head on it. It's not even a real bolt. And a bunch of washers stacked up are what's holding this chain on here. It's just a big mess. I don't know how I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna have to look at trailer chains. My battery's running out. And then they drag down almost and touch the ground. I'm trying to figure out how to keep them from dragging and sparking all the way home. It's just a mess, this chain. So, and this is where they're supposed to hook. That's broken. This side isn't much better. And again, there's a tiny little bolt with a standard screwdriver and it's loose even. You can turn it around. But that's broken also, and that's what it's connected to. This broken, unwelded little hook here. I don't like that. So I'm gonna have to look at trailer chains and try to figure out something. I mean, even if it goes through this big hole right here and wraps around the frame of the trailer and then has, you know, heavy normal hooks that hook on, would be better than trying to hook onto these broken, rusted old things. I mean, that's solid. If you wrap a chain around this frame and go and just hook onto the back of it, that's all you got to do. So I'm gonna look into that next, and hopefully nothing goes wrong on the way home, because this is the first time towing that big of a load. But everything looks okay. So here we go. Okay, the trailer is handling the weight fine, but I started driving, and when I was kind of bumping around, I was hearing a rubbing noise. So this needs to be trimmed right here. I mean, I got a tiny little space for the tire. So I pulled a little wood out, and I'm gonna drive home slow. And I just need to grind that corner off just as much as possible, really. Bring it up into here. Plenty of space there, and the other side is going to be ground too. It's got, from where I had to cut the wheel well off, that one, it's hard to see, but there's a sharp edge on that. That'll go right into a tire, and that's got a little bit more room here, but I'll grind that. I'll come in and cut that off, and then we should be good to go. But I'm a little nervous to drive home. I'm going to go slow, because if I hit bumps, that's really close right there. But I mean, I'm shaking it and it's not touching. So we'll see. Well, now we're home. I made it pretty much safely. I went really slow. I didn't go over like 35 miles an hour. But I'm gonna go ahead and grind the corner of this off. I did do very minimal damage to my tire there, where the corner that was rubbing into the tire, it just kind of made a tiny little wear mark around it. I don't think it's anything to worry about, but it did kind of knock the edge off of that tire a little bit. Kind of took some tiny little pieces out of it. But I'm talking like, as that tire wears, it might just kind of smooth it and flatten right back out over time. It's not like the end of the world type of rubbing, but you can see a little mark where that trailer was touching it barely. So that happened, but we should be good to go. I don't really know what else could go wrong, knock on wood. After I get this done, I should be able to load that trailer up and haul it, you know, anywhere, anything that I want to haul in that thing, and heap it up really high. The suspension did really good. The leaf springs had plenty of room, and I had it filled up all the way. So as soon as this darn tire gets room to spin, I should be good to go. And I just need to look at those chains. Like I said, I probably just need to buy a 2 or 3 foot section of chain and wrap it around through the frame, like I said, and hook it on. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm going to look at trailer chains and see kind of how they come from the factory, with if there's any type of fasteners or bolts or whatever with them, or if I just need to buy, like I said, a 3 foot section of some nice heavy gauge chain with some heavy hooks on it and go that route. But I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up. I won't bore y'all with watching me grind this thing for the next 15 minutes, but that's what I do. I just kind of go around both wheels on all 4 of those little points where the frame's sticking out and grind them off and round them off so there's not a hard point on them. While I'm grinding this at ludicrous speed, if you enjoy this type of content, give the video a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel, and there'll be more headed your way. Thanks a lot. So it's not perfect, but my grinding wheel is running down and I want to get to the other side. So I'm going to do the other side in case I need to use this thing before the wheels come in. And I'll just come back later and pull that wheel off and touch it up and straighten that out and everything. So that's what I ended up with. You gotta realize we were way over here. So, that'll give us all this extra space. I should have a couple inches now. And like I said, when I get new grinding discs, I'm gonna have to order some more grinding discs. I can come in and do some more. I'm thinking about just coming straight into here and then straight down. So here's the after. I just put a little paint on it. That's a pretty smooth cut though. That should give me enough room. I mean, it was barely touching, but now we should have a couple inches between here and here. I mean, should be good to go. And you figure if that drops straight down, it's not even near the tire right now, so. Got a little paint on it, just wanted to show that. I did put a little paint on each one of those. Since this is going on YouTube, I wanted to show that I did put paint on it to kind of help prevent rust. You can see where I sprayed it a little bit. Just shot a little black paint on it.